Laura. Welcome to my channel. And what my video topic today that I've decided to do a video on and talk about is some of the do's and don'ts on raw foods and how to stay full and satisfied, and some of the things that I found through my 5-year journey that have helped me to stay satisfied, and some of the things that I had some problems with in the beginning. So I just want to start off with one of the first things that I would say would be a don't, would be eating too many nuts and dry fruits. So, I mean, these things, they do kind of help us to be satisfied, and they are allowed in this diet, and it's not saying that you can't have dates and you can't eat certain dry fruits like mulberries. You can have these things, but it's really important that you don't overeat these things, because this can really add to a lot of problems with your stomach and your digestion. They don't digest really easily, and the problem is that later on you still end up reaching for more of these things. And nuts can really be addicting, and I'm not saying not to eat them because I still eat them, but I used to eat so many nuts and seeds and things, and I ate them in the earlier parts of the day, and a lot of times I would end up just feeling kind of bogged down and not quite as energetic. I mean, definitely still a lot better than I felt on a standard diet, but still there are ways to be satisfied on these foods without having to eat all these things. So I'm going to go into some of the changes that I made and how these things helped me on this lifestyle. And fruit just really helps throughout the entire day, and you're not quite as hungry for all these other things that will bog you down in the day hours. And a lot of things that I do is, if I'm in a real hurry, I'll just mono meal. That's another really good thing to do. And you know, it would be as simple as me having 2 of these cantaloupes and just cutting them up and eating them, and just having that for an afternoon snack can really do a lot of wonders for keeping you satisfied and full, along with continuing with water. And sometimes even if you're working during the day hours, and you know, a lot of people are eating something like a big lunch or even a big salad, sometimes stuff like that can maybe be not possible to do. And that's why I really think that fruit is really important to keeping that satisfied feeling, to be hydrated and eat as many fruits as possible. You know, I have bought these really big pomegranates, and I peel these all the time. These are wonderful for you, and to keep these and just snack on these during the day. Have apples. You know, you could eat 8 apples. You can eat bananas. You can mono meal with bananas and just have 6 or even 8 bananas. And, you know, I find that this makes things a little bit more simple, and I don't claim to be like a fruitarian or anything, but I am living a little bit more fruit-based as opposed to nuts and seeds like I was doing in the beginning. And, you know, I know in the beginning everybody feels that hunger for salt, and, you know, they want the more gourmet meals and stuff like that, and that's okay. But I think that if you can stay on the fruit all day, and you can kind of plan on those meals at the end of the day, have plans for your meals when you come home, and definitely when it's time to eat supper, that's when I will add something like a fat, like an almond butter in my salad dressing. Making those salad dressings that are a little bit more thick and have some fat in it, and putting lots and lots of veggies together, it can really be satisfying. And you know, I do a lot of sprouting. I always have these sunflower sprouts, and I add these. I have some clover sprouts, and I have those going a lot. I add those a lot of times to my salads, and there's a lot of food to that. You can eat a lot of those in your salads, and I find that I feel a lot more satisfied without having to add so many nuts and seeds, which I will sometimes put a few pumpkin seeds or maybe some walnuts occasionally in my salads. But I don't really sit and snack on a lot of nuts and seeds like I used to, because I find that they are addicting and I don't actually feel as good when I'm doing that. So I think that these are some things that can help people to get that satisfied feeling without having to overeat and without having to really slow down your digestion, especially during the day hours when you're trying to be busy at work or you're just busy in your day and you need that energy. I find that juicing and fruits just really keep me energetic all day and not really adding much fat. And sometimes in the morning I'll have fruit and I'll have a little bit of chia seed, or I might, if I lifted weights or something, I might want to shake and add a little bit of protein, but not so much of the nut butters and things that I used to do, especially first thing in the morning. And I just really find that I feel very satisfied, and that helps me a lot. And in the night hours after I've had supper, you know, sometimes I do feel like I still feel a little bit hungry. And sometimes you may not want to eat maybe a whole lot of fruit with your meal. If you had something that had a lot of fat in it, you might not want to sit there and eat like a whole watermelon or something like that. But you can have some fruit at night, and you can eat your more dried fruits at night. And this is something that I have done pretty regularly, because sometimes, I don't know why it is, but after a meal, even though I've eaten a lot of food, I still feel like I want to eat something. And so that's when I'll add maybe a couple of dates or something. And dates are very satisfying. And I'm not saying, like I said earlier, don't eat so many of them. Maybe just eat them as a snack after supper, after you're full, and something to just kind of finish you off and sustain enough energy to make you feel satiated. That's mainly the thing that you want to get to, is that feeling of satiation. Bananas are a great way to do that. And sometimes I don't like eating so many of these different things within the day. I like that mono-mealing type of thing where maybe that day I might eat the 2 cantaloupes and just drink a lot of water and have a juice or something. And then when I come home, have my bigger meal with some of the added fats to my salads. And if I don't want a dressing, I add a big avocado and just lemon juice and just throw in lots and lots of sprouts. And, you know, I won't tend to eat too many dry fruits, dates or mulberries or things like that, if I've already eaten a good meal and I just feel like I need a little something after that. And then I'm maybe eating at the most 4 dates and not, you know, eating a whole bag of dates or something, because I did do a lot of things like that in the beginning. And, you know, at lunch hour, you know, eating a bunch of nuts and dates and then having a banana, it just really wasn't good. It just didn't really give me that real energetic feeling. And also it can lead to a lot of digestion issues where you feel full, and you don't want to feel that full but undigested feeling in the middle of the day and then come home and try to eat a big meal on top of that. So I just wanted to kind of talk about that, because I know that there's people that probably do similar things to that, and they just don't really know how to go about these things. And, you know, sometimes people think that fruit is not what they want because they want something savory, but I would say just eat the fruit and you'll find that you'll feel sustained. And when you come home later in the day, you can always have something more savory at night. And it just makes life easier. Actually, fruiting really does make life easier. Eating fruit is one of the easiest things that you can do, and I think that's one of the reasons a lot of fruitarians like it. But I definitely know that that is a much better route to go. More fruit, less nuts, and oils, and all of those things, which I've really stopped adding, because all of those fats, and then you're eating a lot of fruits, and all of those fats just kind of really do something to the stomach and the digestion when you're adding both together. So if you do the fruits in the day, and then you eat something later at night that's more savory with some dry fruit, I find that that works for me. And I know it works for a lot of other people, because there's a lot of fruit-based people out there, and there's a lot of people that feel very satisfied on things like fruit during the day hours, and a lot of people have found that they don't really need as many of the things as we think we need. And that's one thing that I figured out during my juice fast, and I'll just talk real briefly about that, because I always thought that it was really important to get some protein, even though I know we're in a protein-obsessed bunch of people in this world that think that you need so much of it and things. But I found that on my juice fast, which I did 70 days pretty much, I did 10 days, and then I did 5 days of like soups that were like avocado or carrot soups, nothing solid, and then I went back into 55 days. So for 5 days it wasn't exactly juice, but it was 70 days that I did not have any solid food. And I found that I didn't really have an over amount of energy during that time, but I had enough energy to do my workouts. I did feel a little bit hungry toward the end, but what I found out is that when I was still lifting weights and things, that I wasn't losing any muscle mass. As a matter of fact, I almost think that I had been gaining more muscle mass. And I wasn't eating proteins and things. So I really think that we don't really need to add so much of this heavy bulk things to get strong and to feel full and to feel satisfied. And that I'm a lot happier eating a lot of fruit and juice and not having to have so much of all that stuff. Even smoothies, I don't need all the time. I don't feel like I have to have a smoothie. And I just remember getting up in the morning and, working out and having a big smoothie and adding almond butter and things like that, and all these like chia seeds, and making these real thick smoothies, feeling like I need all this to have this energy and to gain muscle mass and things like that. And I would do that, and then I'd be snacking on nuts during the day, and I was feeling really, really like full, and my stomach was really distended sometimes. And I finally said to myself, there has to be another route to go, because this just isn't really working real well. So that's when I started adding more fruit. And as soon as I did that, and I started looking into more fruit-based than people who live more fruit-based, and I started doing this more and more, I found that I just really felt a lot better. But I thought it was really interesting on the juice fast that I didn't really even need, like all these added powders and things to smoothies to really feel like I was getting stronger. So after the juice fast, which I've been off of that now for probably close to a month or so, and I'm still not really doing that. I will have an occasional smoothie or something, but that I just pretty much cut up fruit. And sometimes if I want something else with it, I might add some chia seeds and things of that nature, but I really don't try to eat too much fat and too much protein powders and things, and I actually feel better that way. So feeling satisfied is something that is really important because you want to be able to sustain on this lifestyle. You don't want to reach for things that are going to make you feel bad, and you definitely don't want to reach for things outside of a raw food diet, which would be the worst case scenario than eating a nut or a date. By all means, if you're hungry and that's all there is, I would go for that long before I would go for anything outside of the vegan lifestyle and start eating things that you don't want to put back into your body, because that's what it could lead to if you don't feel satisfied and you don't feel hungry. And you know, a lot of people are going to tell you that you need meat, you need protein, and you need all these things. And in the beginning of a raw vegan lifestyle, I really thought that a lot of these things were true sometimes, because I did deal with hunger and I just kept eating nuts and things, and I thought, how am I going to sustain on this? Am I going to be able to live on this? And so to just end with that and close with that, I'm going to say that the answer to that is fruit, period. Fruit and juicing is the answer to that. Those are the most, to me, filling things, and things that will, your people worry about their skin and eating more oils and things, and they need more fats and oils in order to feel full. But actually, I feel like the water content in the fruit and in juicing and things like that is doing a lot more for your skin than all the oils and things of that nature. So that's just my theory on the whole thing. That's what I found out during my 5 years. And I know some people might not feel that way, but I definitely would say that even if you're somebody who still wants to eat a lot more dense foods and things, to add a lot more fruit. And you might really realize that, surprisingly, you might not feel as hungry for all of the other stuff. So I'm just going to go ahead and close with that, and I'm going to read this, and this is out of John chapter 4, verse 24, and that is, God is spirit, and those who worship him must worship in spirit and in truth. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope you liked this video, and if you did, please give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and have a wonderful, blessed day.